The orientation of the curriculum is designed to be always for the individual learners to focus on the strategic outcome of what they are doing in a course. My responsibility is only this. If I am able to do this well, my job is done. That freedom is not available to an entrepreneur. Research, 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 validation, validation, validation. It was true in the old era of business model. It is equally true in the new era of business models. Training owner and not executives and managers. The departure is compared to a business school program, which is available all over the country. 99.9% of the times, B school students are focused at a career through employment route. Does marketing have a special connotation for entrepreneurs? And the answer is yes, their life depends on
it. Welcome to the podcast that we are having today at Great Lakes Institute of Management. We'd like to talk about our postgraduate program in management, which is specifically designed for family business owners and entrepreneurs. It's a new program that we are launching this year, and it's a very interesting program because it's custom designed specifically for entrepreneurs and business owners in this country. And what we are trying to do here is to ensure that people who are actually the wealth creators, the employment generators, right, who are actually running businesses in this country, get the benefit of formal education, the best of management practices, get exposure to perspectives from founders, from venture capitalists, from leading experts around the world, and ensure that they succeed out there in their businesses. So to discuss that, we have with us Dr. Debashish Sanyal. Dr. Sanyal is the director of Great Lakes Institute of Management, Gurgaon.
Hello.
He had a very distinguished academic career. He has held leadership roles in many institutions in India. He has been, fortunately, my dean at MDI Gurgaon. He was the provost at Narsi Monji Institute of Management, leading all the campuses. And incidentally, Dr. Sanyal also introduced the family business program in Narsi Monji in Bombay. And we also have with us Dr. Umashankar Venkatesh. Dr. Umashankar Venkatesh is a senior professor of marketing, but he's also been a distinguished academic leader. He has been in leadership roles of multiple leading institutions, and he has also nurtured many startups as an advisor, as a board member in many ventures started by his students over the years.
Right.
So it's a pleasure to have both of you here in the podcast.
Thank you,
Dr. Sanyal, Dr. Venkatesh. My first question is to Dr. Debashish Sanyal. So we have many management programs in the country. So what is the requirement for having a program which is specifically developed for those who are looking to run their own family businesses or ventures?
Nowadays, there are two sets of people. One, those who are not into family-owned business, but want to be an entrepreneur at a very short age. They have the caliber, they have the initiative, they want to do something new, and so they want a program which can help them to hone their skills and understand very clearly how to go about it. They need professional input on that. The others are the new generation of business owners. With ChatGPT, AI intervention, and all the data, using data especially, it's becoming more difficult for old generation to cope up with the requirements of the new generation requirement. So they want their children, and in various forums when I meet this type of industry people or business owners, they request you, why don't you have a program which can help our children or grandchildren at times? So after last 3 years, we are pondering it. So as a part of the PGPM program, which is one of the most accepted programs of the country, we thought, where we have a specialized in marketing, finance, etc., we thought of starting a program, a one-year program on family-owned business and entrepreneurship.
Right. As admissions director, I couldn't agree more with you. Every year we have hundreds of applicants who come from family businesses, and the growth of family businesses is going to actually lead to the growth of the economy, growth of employment, and while there's a lot of inherent knowledge that's passed on in family businesses, I think somewhere they also want to benefit from modern business practices, and I think that's why they want to do an MBA program, right? Um, Dr. Venkatesh, if you could actually tell us more about what does the program consist of, how is it different from the regular MBA program, and what are its highlights?
Now, the idea is that traditionally Indian B schools have trained people for fulfilling industry requirements as executives, as managers, junior, mid level, senior, leading up to leadership positions, which obviously is also true for family businesses. But the idea that how do you approach a training program with the perspective of training owners and not executives and managers? I think that's where the point of departure starts between a standard business program, whether 1 year or 2 year, or as compared to, let's say, a family business and entrepreneurship oriented programs. Also, that when you look at 2 year versus 1 year, and why did we think of the family business program that we have launched as a 1 year program? The idea here is that all those who belong to existing business houses, small, mid sized, large, doesn't matter, they all have a ready made laboratory with them, wherein they can actually logically practice all that is happening inside the program in the classrooms, in discussions, that they can implement and practice readily, wherein in a full-time B school program, we try to find and integrate opportunities wherein they can do this. But obviously, the pressure of the classroom is there. So we say, okay, go for an internship or go for some live projects here and there, which is intermittent. In this, actually, you can remain in your business and be part of the management of your business the way you want to, and you are getting fresh ideas and inputs from the program, and you have a really live business in with you, and you can actually use all that insights to generate value for your business or additional value for your business. I think that's where the departure is, compared to a business school program which is available all over the country in various formats, and a family business program. I think the ownership perspective also changes. So many functions and practices which a employment oriented learner will look at differently, and an ownership oriented learner will look at differently. So I think that's very important that we look at a program which is customized for this, because we are saying that we are going to now have 100% people admitted to this program who are committed to family businesses and entrepreneurship aspirations. They are not looking to get hired by a company at the end of the program.
Yeah.
So this is a commitment that we seek from all students or all learners who want to be part of this program. The moment that is taken off from the table, I think that completely changes the ball game, and then they know that they don't need to get distracted from that. And uh, trust me, running B school programs for the last 35 years now, I know that 99.9% of the times B school students are focused at a career through employment route, right? And I know of a very small percentage of students from B school programs who gathered the courage to go into entrepreneurship immediately on graduation. It's true because the context in which they have lived for 1 year or 2 year in those programs, and the training that they have received, hasn't equipped them or prepared them to take that leap.
Absolutely. And I couldn't agree more with you in the sense that, you know, people optimize for what outcomes they are looking for, right? Um, and I have been to business school myself. Across my cohort, uh, people were most focused on placements even more than the classes, right? And all the choices were based on that, right? The specializations you took, they were based on where you saw the employment opportunities, right? And a lot of times people miss out on the full value of management education because you want to start your career in finance, so you're not so interested in, let's say, the people side, right? But for a business owner, he doesn't have the choice. He doesn't have the choice of managing the financial side. He doesn't have the choice of managing the marketing. He can't choose that, right? He has to own the entire business. And hence, we need a program which builds those capabilities, those perspectives to manage a business as a whole, rather than looking at starting as a functional manager who will grow in their career over a period of time, maybe become a CEO after 20 years. So the program aims to do that, get people to take on the responsibility of the business from day one, right? And I think everything else in the program is designed around that theme. So, Dr. Sanyal, you have already started a family business program in Bombay, uh, right? And I think that's a longer duration program. But here at Great Lakes, we made this a 1 year program, like our flagship PGPM. Uh, what's the reason behind actually choosing the 1 year format versus maybe a typical 2 year MBA format?
Excellent question. At Bombay, in MIMS University, business school, it was a 5-year integrated MBA program for family-owned business. It was because we found, and for market research, and again to experience that after class 12, a lot of business person, they don't know where to send their son. Where to do? Let's go for engineering. Some thought, let us go for commerce or BBA. But when they got a program which focused in developing professionals to manage family-owned business, they found it very important, interesting, and exciting. So that kicked off, and it is one of the best programs at present. When I came over here, and when I talked to various people, as I mentioned earlier, we found that there is a need. Many people in the industry who are already into the business, they don't have much time at present. It's difficult for them to give 1 year also. Giving 2 years is even more difficult. So I see that the need for having professional input across functional area and some niche subject which is targeted only for family-owned business and for entrepreneurs. So that type of program was the need of the hours. So we have curated a program where we will teach not only the fundamentals of business management, which is very important over a period of time. This program will have those. In addition to that, they will learn how to prepare business plan. We have another 2 credit courses, startup challenges. Here they have to learn, they have to conceive whatever program, whatever business they want to start up with, what is the capability, and find it present to venture capitalist maybe. Previously, people could spend 2 years. Now, once you are there in the business, the opportunity cost of 2 years is very high. So we are covering everything. We are covering not only this, there is international immersion also, where they will learn how they do business outside, how abroad. We plan to take them to Europe, across Europe, how they do business, where they can develop a relationship over there. In future, they may do business with them. So all these things will be covered in this program.
I have interacted with many, students over the years who wanted to join our different programs, whether it's full-time or executive programs across both campuses. The common challenges that I see them facing is all the small and medium-sized businesses, right? Even companies with, let's say, 100, 200 turnover. Um, is how do you professionalize the business?
Right.
Right? You have the owners, and then you have all the junior executives, even with experience, they're not still really in managerial roles.
Mhm.
So the typical problem they face is how do they attract high quality professionals in their business, because that's the only way they can scale beyond their individual capabilities on how much they can manage. Uh, right. So, do you think doing a program like this would give them that perspective, that exposure to be able to build a professional organization?
There are certain nuts and bolts for this answer that needs to be integrated into the conversation if you want to find how this is going to work out. If you look at what attracts an applicant for a graduate program to a B school, I think the brand equity of the B school is very important, because that, whether we like it or not, establishes a pedigree uh, uh, across the uh, social environment in which the context for the individual candidate exists. So I think if you have a graduate degree from a top grade B school, that's a calling card for you, whether you're in the job market or whether you are an entrepreneur trying to raise funds, trying to impress VCs, that why they should trust you. I think that's a very simplistic look, but it is a very essential part of presenting a cogent business case.
Right.
And why should somebody trust you? One. I think the second part is that we did discuss it a little bit, that when you look at the orientation of the curriculum, the orientation of the curriculum is designed to be always for the individual learners to focus on the strategic outcome of what they are doing in a course. And that strategic outcome is one of running the whole thing themselves rather than doing a small part in a big machine, which is what the employee's outlook is.
Yeah.
That's not my responsibility. This is not my responsibility. My responsibility is only this. If I'm able to do this well, my job is done. That freedom is not available to an entrepreneur. So, like you said, end to end, all parts of the value chain, they have to have the visibility, they have to have the control, and they are the decision makers. The buck stops with them. I think the major difference is not so much on the curriculum content, but the pedagogy and how uh, to solve what kind of problems in the class through exercises, and how do we impress upon them that you have to take always the ownership perspective rather than the employee perspective. And it is very easy for and it is natural, there is nothing wrong in it, for an employee to sit in a meeting and think that I don't need to contribute.
Yeah.
Right? Matters which are getting discussed here are beyond my pay grade or away from my responsibility area or KRA. Therefore, I don't need to contribute. But as an owner, you cannot afford to do that.
Yeah.
So for me, even a mundane course, which can be called mundane in B school's parlance, is very, very crucial, right? So does marketing have a special connotation for entrepreneurs? And the answer is yes, their life depends on it. Their life depends on it.
When we talk to typical business school students, they say, I want to do marketing, but maybe I'm not interested in sales.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But a business owner would always say, the only thing that matters is sales.
Absolutely.
Right.
And just to add to what Professor Venkat says, this course will help them to like attending a finishing school. So we will ensure, this course will ensure that when they graduate from the school, they will have the expertise to understand and do justice to their personality, communication skill, and the required knowledge to run their business. How can you make a business plan without understanding marketing? How can you do a business plan today without knowing finance and accounting? When you have to present yourself with a business plan to a bank or to a venture capitalist, whatever it is, to source fund, need to know all this.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the uh, unique learning experiences in the program. A series of interactions with entrepreneurs, and every entrepreneur would have failed many times over,
Correct.
and they'll be wiser with each of those failures, and that's what many people attribute to their success. And that's an opportunity for all our students to learn from other people's failures, so that they don't repeat the same ones.
Correct.
And interaction with venture capitalists, being able to prepare their business plan, startup pitches, right, and interacting with fellow business owners, and being able to get feedback from mentors. So all of that would, I believe, help them figure things out for their own business.
And one more thing I must say, network. As we say, network is net worth. They'll be interacting with people of a similar peers. And nowadays, business is not on silos. The business you do is well connected with another business who is doing services. You are textile, services, and you need both of them. It will be a ground place where you interact not only with the people and the family or business who are doing specialization, but also with people who will go to the corporate life.
Yeah.
So this together networking facility you learn. And when you go abroad, you network with people outside the country also. This network that will be created by when you are doing this course will be of immense value. And I'm talking not just from my experience, because I've seen students who have taken family-owned business in the past, how they are going up leaps and bounds after they have taken the course. And this network has helped them.
And all our alumni network beyond
Yeah.
the classroom.
Correct.
We have 13,000 plus alumni
Correct.
in over 30 odd countries, from Scandinavia to US to Australia, London, and whatnot. And they're there across almost
Absolutely.
every top company in senior roles.
Absolutely.
So that's a huge value addition in itself. And one more advantages of the peer group interaction is what I was referring to earlier as the challenge they see in professionalizing their organizations.
Sure.
Right? That's because the moment you're put in a family business, you think you're the owner, everybody's under you. Right? The equation is established. And once that culture is established, it's very hard to attract professionals to work there.
Correct.
But if you're in the classroom, you're equal to everybody else.
Right.
You learn how to interact with others, how to convince others, right? How do you build respect among your peers, not based on your position, but based on your thought process, your articulation, right? And that's how you can attract, high quality talent within your organization.
It's interesting you mentioned that we were discussing in the curriculum design bit, and we have a course which talks about building high performing teams. And building high performing teams forces you to think about the outcome that you are chasing rather than who you are, right? And that resonates with your thought that if you start thinking that I'm the owner and my diktat runs, you won't get professionals to come on board.
Yeah.
It'll be very difficult for you. So I think we are, through this particular course, for example, we are trying to fill that understanding, that gap in that understanding of that, building a high performing team is a minimum requirement in a highly competitive world.
Yeah.
And wherein you need to understand as an individual owner entrepreneur or owner manager that you can equally be a professional where you can get more successful, more higher caliber professionals. They can help you take your business to places which you would not have been able to. And I think that transition has happened. I think it's a good thing to talk about what happened in the last 10 years, especially even including India as well. So these startups, they chased value rather than ROI. They chased value And their thought process was through venture capitalists and funds, which is available maybe more easily, you will raise your valuation and then sell off the company and make your profit. So sales revenue was not really
Or
the
the profits.
test, right? So now that we have come full circle, and now that honeymoon period seems to be over, even that opportunity is not left anymore. So you now understand that you have to build value, right? And valuation will not happen if your balance sheet and profit and loss account is in the red for multiple years continuously. There are large companies who are like that, but they have got deep pockets, they're spending money. But a small and mid-sized enterprise cannot think of doing that. So I think that consciousness can be built through this kind of a curriculum and approach, wherein you understand that building a company uh, is not easy in any case. And today, where technology has democratized so many things, that what you want to do is no more unique.
Yeah.
Right? And everybody has access to the same set of technology at the same low cost or high cost. So that competitive advantage, because you have some resources others don't have, doesn't really exist.
Yeah.
This is the era of open source. Right?
And that's a very important point, because I think we say across a country, lot of small and medium sized businesses getting impacted as we move from a
Local supply chain to global supply chain.
global supply chain. Economy is getting formalized.
Correct.
Right. Once GST came in, I think that was a massive disruption, as well as it's for the good. But then it disturbed a lot of the existing small businesses, right? Because now they're facing the same um, taxation as large businesses.
Correct.
Right, which reduce their competitive advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And second, we are going towards a unified marketplace. Correct. Across the country. Correct. Which means now you are having to compete not just with your few peers in your micro market, but you are having to compete with larger companies across the country who may be more efficient. So it's both presenting challenges and opportunities. And I guess the winners would be those who take the opportunities by becoming more efficient, by scaling up, by making their businesses more professional, taking the best practices. So I think it's all the more important now that people try to incorporate the best practices and maximize their competitive advantage, because doing business as usual is no longer, let's say, sustainable.
I can promise you one thing: this program will see a big shift in their attitude, big shift in their soft skill, big shift in the way they are thinking to do their business.
And at Great Lakes, as Dr. Sanyal mentioned, we have some fantastic faculty, who are perhaps among the best in the country in the area of data science, in AI and machine learning, right, which are absolutely on the cutting edge. In fact, I can mention a couple of our faculty members. Dr. Bappaditya Mukhopadhyay, he's ranked among the world's best faculty, and definitely among the top 5-10 faculty members in the country in the analytics space. And Dr. Jayatu Sen, who joined us, he was heading global analytics at American Express. Now imagine the amount of insights somebody managing the data for American Express would have in terms of consumer spending, consumer behavior, how to make sense of that, right? So these are all very valuable skills that the students can pick up on. And how do they leverage the new technologies, the amount of data that's available? Decision making can't always be based on instinct. Earlier, it used to be on instinct, right? In fact, we also have a lab in virtual reality, right, which is perhaps on the cutting edge. The moment Apple kind of scales up their virtual reality offerings, right now it's just in the initial stages, that is going to have a huge change in the business ecosystem. So I think having this great faculty and courses in these areas would definitely equip our students with the skills and frameworks needed to deal with the entire technology and data intensive world. So again, Dr. Venkatesh, you're a marketing professor.
Right.
I think one of the things that has changed in the last few years is definitely marketing,
Right.
right? Along with technology, part of it is driven by technology. Right now, it's primarily digital,
Correct.
and especially if your target audience is younger people,
Sure.
then now it's all in social media, right? Dr. Sanyal mentioned about Facebook, but I'd say it's more now Instagram.
Instagram.
Correct.
Instagram, if it's more on the professional side, it's LinkedIn,
Mhm.
right? So, how do you think the program will prepare, business owners or entrepreneurs to be able to hack their growth,
Mhm.
right, through leveraging all these channels?
I think one of the key requirements to build that kind of mindset is to have a very interactive ecosystem wherein there is free flow of ideas, and people are not afraid of sounding out their ideas. I think the startup challenge concept uh, fits into that aspiration of the program, wherein we say this, that you know what, I love to quote this guy, the founder of LinkedIn. He said very poetically that
Reid Hoffman.
if your Reid Hoffman, that if your first product did not fail, you did not launch it fast enough.
Right.
That if your first product did not fail, you did not launch it fast enough. So he's saying that fail fast is a good thing, and which absolutely flies in the face of old business logic, right? That you got to plan, right? And then launch it with great care, with great deliberation, launch any new business idea, great deliberation, and then you are bound to succeed. And here is a new thinking. It says, if you keep planning, somebody will launch.
Yeah.
Somebody will launch. So I think that shift in thinking is going to come through very well with faculty members who have that kind of mindset, with courses that prove it to you empirically that how this new mindset has returned new dividends, where the classical mindset, which was ring fencing, right, creating competitive advantage by excluding other companies to get in. Those are, like I said, everything is democratically available, right? So, frankly, I don't want to name them, but there are companies in technology which have become redundant in front of our eyes, and they were world beating companies. And they have become redundant just on one principle, that no enterprise buyer is wanting to pay upfront so much money. Everyone is looking to follow a business model of pay per use. And when you say why all technology companies are becoming SaaS companies, because there is no other way to exist. You better become a service kind of a company where you charge money for services rendered, nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah.
Right. So whether it is AWS or GCP or Azure, all of them belong to, at least Azure belongs to a classical IT company, but they have unlearned their way of doing business. So the idea is that if you expose a group of inquisitive young people to these new business models, many of which are new age digital in nature, which demolishes old business models. So I use the word value chain, which is Michael Porter's value chain, 1985. But 2010, there is a value chain proposed by somebody else of Indian origin, right? It absolutely turns it upside down. It says that earlier the value chain based competitive advantage concept was based upon upstream domination. This says upstream, everyone has created the same now. So there is no differentiation as far as upstream is concerned. So your competitive advantage lies in the downstream. You better start looking downstream, right? And there are easy examples for this. Suddenly, it opens the eyes of people, especially coming from traditional family businesses. So it sort of ignites them within them, hopefully, a thought that, you know what, within this existing business, what is true value? Where does it exist in my existing value chain? And do we really have control over that anymore? Or it is like trying to hold on to a fistful of sand, right? And that competitiveness had eroded long time back, and you're holding on to it, hoping, thinking that you still have that competitive advantage. It doesn't exist anymore. It has been taken over by maybe a small startup somewhere, wherein their initial offering comes at no cost, and people think, oh, it's no cost, I should go with them. Why go to and there are so many. Some of them are from our alumni also, right? So this idea that business models itself have been disrupted, wherein 20-year-old business models which are tried, tested, and commercially viable are no more so.
Yeah.
I think that ecosystem, through dialogue, debate, exercises, startup challenges, face to face with venture capital guys, face to face with failed and successful entrepreneurs. Many of them are from our campus only, right? So the idea that, opening their vistas in terms of what all is being experimented with now,
Yeah.
and rather than not getting stuck with the old business models, which their family managers, old timers, have said this is the only way to do this business.
Yeah.
And just to add up to what Professor said just now, Professor Venkat, see the e-commerce. Cash business is going off. All are digital payment. So various payment gateways have come. In India, one thing has happened in the last 5-6 years: digitalization. How to take it? How to take advantage of it? Then we have got fintech course. Will be there for fintech. Really, blockchain. How to protect the data? Not only use it, how to protect the data. So all these things are part and parcel of this program. And I'm quite sure, as I was repeating what I've told you before, when they come in and when they go out, there's a difference in their knowledge, their expertise, and their attitude.
So to sum up, I think I see this as one. It's about building a sort of mindset
Right.
of growth, of being nimble, being agile, of experimenting and failing.
Right.
It's about learning the skills, understanding the business models, getting perspectives from other entrepreneurs,
Right.
venture capitalists, which we'll have in the program.
Right.
I think that's invaluable. In fact, we don't have to look far. We have so many of our alumni doing that. There's so much we can gain out of the experiences of others. And I think we are also in a great location. Right? Being in Gurgaon, we have access to so many startups, right? So many new age businesses. I think that's definitely going to help. And with our faculty bringing in expertise in all these areas, many from industry, I think that really gives people a platform to ensure that they go out there with confidence.
Correct.
In scaling their businesses or trying new ideas, and also to some extent reduce their chance of failure by ensuring that at least they learn from some of the mistakes of others, right?
Right.
Ultimately, you can't guarantee that your startups won't fail. As you said, it is likely to fail.
Absolutely.
But at least you can ensure the success rate is higher by learning from others and building the right skills.
I think that openness or opening up of minds we are wanting to, articulate through this program, wherein you don't feel any social pressure that failure is a bad thing, right? And first social pressure comes from the family itself, wherein they say that we have to conserve our resources, we cannot risk it. And then in this democratic world, maybe they can plan a business in a new kind of a model wherein they don't take capital from their families. At least that is assured that you are not going to risk something of your own.
Yeah.
It is possible that service businesses are there wherein your capital expenditure is not really that high, and you can still start small.
I have always, as an entrepreneur as well, had this question, right? Of course, in my case, I have not really failed in the sense of a complete business failure, but yes, there'll be always instances where
Sure.
you
Some
fail
initial.
on some specific projects and you fail on certain plans, right? But yes, the overwhelming majority of startups fail, right? So, Dr. Venkatesh, why do startups fail?
So if you want to conceptualize this, the idea is that there are innumerable reasons to fail, but to start with, an idea that you think is unique, you need to test whether it is really unique. Two, does it solve somebody's problem really? And that somebody is your target market. Does it really solves their problems? And this is one big problem that I've seen. Have you really thought through your business model? And within the business model, the revenue model, where will the money come in from? You have an utopian idea about that, you have an earth shaking idea, which is going to be a world beating idea. But in that excitement, you've forgotten to monetize how you're going to monetize that idea. You've not thought that through. And this is where talking to venture people and existing entrepreneurs, successful as well as failed ones, is going to open up your eyes that research, validation. It was true in the old era of business model. It is equally true in the new era of business models. The only difference is in the old era, maybe the research was a little bit more difficult. Today, there are tools to conduct those research uh, easily, or maybe with a factor of 3x, 4x easier than what it used to be before. Syndicated research is available these days, wherein you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So, without validation, without thinking this through your business model, have you planned it and have you run it through with somebody who is able to look at it dispassionately and point out flaws, right? And I think we already in our PGPM already used to do this, wherein we used to expose people to new types of business models, right? Last I remember, the classification gave me about 18 types of business models. Now, it's not very easy to somebody to understand all the 18 immediately, but you have to stay at it and you need to look at case studies of success and failure, which then reveals to you the value of a particular business model and how it has really fared. So I think this is where at the strategic level you have thought this through or not. That's where one reason for failure. The second is in the execution bit, wherein, like you said, that uh, you can't do everything yourself. So it is normal practice now. Original founders were two. They now start looking for new co-founders. Yeah, that's one way of. It's an euphemistic way of saying that I really don't have the money to compensate you right now. You come on board as a co-founder, and you got equity options, and valuation wise, we do well, you win. But you will appreciate that new joinee co-founders, they also are looking for some guarantees which doesn't exist, right? Or which hardly exists. So you got to find those set of people who are as passionate as you are in that. So that's where your building a high performing team journey starts. So I
Yeah.
think that therein lies another big reason for failure, that
Yeah.
you didn't get the right kind of people with the right mindset together. And obviously, the third thing is the leadership issues. And we have seen enough examples of co-founders falling out,
Yeah.
sometimes very publicly also falling out, becoming the talk of the town for all the wrong reasons, right? Obviously, that happens in normal businesses as well, right? But structured layered businesses have understood how to mitigate this, right? But since you're only four in this new company and all four are co-founders, visibility is very high. Anything anybody says is caught up by the press or by social media, and you come in the limelight whether you like it or not.
You made the point of one, the validating the business model. Second is about the execution, which is the co-founder.
So based upon our understanding of the core or most crucial reasons why startups fail, I think the program that we have at hand uh, tries to find answers to both the questions, and this is through the use of cases, the use of exercises, the use of practical work in the marketplace through the startup challenge and business plan and competitions, wherein we try to make this an imperative that validating the idea that you have, converting that into a business model where it really makes sense to your chosen TG. Also, that you have chosen your TG really, really carefully, and you really have something that most other companies in this domain are not offering. That gives you a little bit of confidence that there is the reason why somebody will come and pay for me. And the third part is that the program also tells you how to help, how to manage the execution of your plans in a professional manner, and what are the metrics of good management practices, whether it is financial management or cost management or marketing and sales or market research. We will cover that gamut. So hopefully, both the sides of the problems, people will find the answers for.
Absolutely. And I have met with many of my students who became entrepreneur, they failed, and they came to discuss with me. And I found most of the case of failure was because, as he's mentioned, the idea was excellent, but they failed in implementation. They were half cooked as far as implementation is concerned. The idea did not envisage the challenges of the marketing or operation or finance or recruitment or talent. Sometimes it happens that you're so much euphoric about your idea, you try to get the best of talent and pay a huge sum of money, which becomes a big burden on you. Cost management is very important. So, as he said, as Professor Venkat says, this course actually, this program is actually designed to help these people, these entrepreneurs, you say, or people who are into old business but want to try out a new business, to help them getting the required input so that the risk of failure is reduced substantially.
I think to sum up,
Dispassionate.
we are talking about the program having the foundational knowledge about management theory, all the skills that people need to develop to become more successful managers and leaders, how to build professional high performance teams. And we are talking about uh, the participants actually doing things. It's not just about learning, but then how do you do through whether the startup challenge, through the business plan development and presentation to VCs, right? Pitching their startups, right? So all of this we believe would help our participants to be ready
Right.
to scale their business, start their new ventures, right? And maximize their possibility of success, right? That's the whole point of this. And I'm sure that we are uniquely positioned as a young, nimble, agile school, which also has a mindset, um, a non traditional mindset to be helping entrepreneurs take up these challenges in a world which is changing at a pretty fast pace, whether it's driven by technology or policies, regulations. And I think our students will be ready to benefit from those changes rather than be challenged by them. So, also, I'd like to conclude by, I think, giving some um, idea to participants on what we are looking for in terms of the kind of cohort we want in the class. I think We are looking at people who obviously have done their undergraduate uh, program with a good academic track record, but more importantly, people who have clear plans of being in their own family business, right? Hopefully, they have already gained some experience, but even otherwise, they have the clarity on what they want to do post their 1 year of program. And also, we are looking at entrepreneurs, right? People who may have um, started a company, possibly failed, want to build their skills and go out and try new ideas. Or it could also be people who are currently professionals but are wanting to get into
Right.
entrepreneurship but want to equip themselves with the right skills and capabilities before they plunge in. So I think most important what we are looking for is a mindset of being a business owner and entrepreneur, and obviously who's also capable of going through a rigorous program, has the intellectual capabilities and drive to benefit from the program. And for more details, you can refer to our website. All the details are there, or reach out to our admissions team. Thank you so much, Dr. Sanyal. Thank you, Dr. Umashankar Venkatesh. It was a pleasure to have you as part of this podcast, and I'm sure this has given a lot of insights to potential participants in this program about what's on offer, what's our thought process, how we are going to help future entrepreneurs, business owners to build the right skill set, right capabilities, the right frameworks, and give them a launch pad to help drive their business. So thanks everyone, and look forward to having a
Sure.
lot of great entrepreneurs coming out of this program.